blueberry pie.
Millzy, what's your favorite Dungeons and Dragons memory? I know you've only been a part of like 1.5 campaigns, but
I think one of my favorite.
Well, hello, cat.
Hello, Axel. For the listener, the cats don't traditionally come in the room because we've always locked the door. But my wife's out of town, so
hey, we get freedom.
Cats are hanging out. I think my favorite D&D memory, like one of my favorites, like one of them was my like one of our first combats because it taught me a lot about the game. But then one of my favorite role playing moments, giggity, was like no,
go on,
was when we met Zeb, the Black Dragon, in our campaign.
Yeah.
And my player, my character spoke Draconic, so I was able to communicate with a lot of the Elder Dragons, whereas the other players in my party could not. And I got to have this weird, like, partially passive-aggressive and partially casual conversation with this dragon that could just kill us all on sight if it really wanted to. And it was just a really fun conversation to try to like, I didn't know really what the intention was for us with meeting her as a character. So, like, with the other ones, I'd kind of guessed, beforehand, I could kind of guess where the plot was going. But with this one, I really had no idea. So it's just really interesting to kind of, like, try to traverse this conversation where no one else in my party can understand what we're talking about. Because in our campaign, a lot of the Elder Dragons didn't really want to talk in common. They kind of felt it was beneath them in a lot of scenarios. So you could just kind of tell that was the only way we were going to have the conversation, and I just thought that was really interesting.
I have too many. I'll talk about, I think, one of everybody's favorite NPCs that they met. Oh man, what was
Old Jamie? No, it wasn't Jamie.
Oh, what was his name? I'm trying to find it and I can't. I should.
Oh, we had the bartender.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to find, and I don't know why I can't find it.
I really thought his name was Jamie.
No.
But our Boston accent barkeep.
Yeah, and I was gonna actually speak in it as well for a second, but I can't find it.
Then you had Fig, our.
Oh, Fig was great. Just
our artificer,
who did not care about anything in the world. Yeah. He was just fine.
He was always inconvenienced by our presence.
Yes, it was just like
even when he needed something from us.
He was so much fun. As a DM, I haven't done it in a minute. I wish we could go back to it. We've just been playing too much fancy cardboard stuff. But that's not a bad thing. I just find it so funny, just the random things that just kind of come to out of nowhere, man. It's so
I think my favorite moment seeing you as a DM deal with was when our friend Roy chose to pray to the mana and not 20s it and looks at you, and I can tell that I understand that sometimes as a DM you have to have this ability to roll with the punches and kind of set the story out as it goes. But I just remember the look on your face when you were just like, what? You're what? And he was just like, I'm going to do this. And then you nat 20s and you're like, I need to go to the bathroom. Not because I need to figure out what I need to do, but just because I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. And I'm like, you just lied straight to our face. You have no idea what's going on. You had to figure out what the heck you were going to do.
Well, a fun fact, a part of me was just like, yeah, I'm going to give him what he wants. Another part of me was like, I could just kill him.
Yeah.
Honestly, that goes to my mind more often.
Lightning bolt, just like.
And what's so funny is the guys we play with usually are guys who one of them has been on this podcast before. His name's Roy. Another one would love to have him on. Brian, I know you're listening. Thank you for listening. But both Roy and Brian, both are military men. They have been friends together for quite a few years now and stuff like that. So they have a good bond together, and they both bounce off each other very well. I believe I've spoke about this before on here. But it's so interesting when they come up with something like that. I mean, we see it in their Magic play now too. Just some random idea that's just like, how are you guys going to deal with this? Huh? And it's like, and the first thing that comes to mind still is like, well, I could just kill you and just move on. And it's like that every single time. And I can't, man. I can't. And it's fine. It's fine. Jimmy was Fig's little counterpart.
That's who it was.
Geez, I still can't find this guy's name, and it's going to kill me until the end of time now.
I feel like I should know.
I feel like you should know, and I don't.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pull out the notebook.
Oh yes. All right. Cool.
I have the notebook handy.
You go into that. I'm gonna go into our plugs, guys. Thanks so much to listening to us. We are still going strong on that Rogue Energy. Go ahead over to rogueenergy.com. Use code hometown, all one word, all caps, to get 10% off any of your purchases. You want a new shaker cup? Go for it. New tub? Get it. If you want to try some flavors out, hey, by all means, please also do that as well. We're still on Discord, talking it up as best we possibly can, talking about the new Commander Legends 2 Battle for Baldur's Gate, which setting in Dungeons and Dragons. We are loving it. We are having so much fun brewing around it. Find us on YouTube, where you will see Millzy's amazing videos up there. Both him and I have opened up a few things where we did pretty well this time around on our
I think
boxes.
this is the first set that we've done well. I feel like we're the set we've kind of done middle of the road to bad. This is the first set that we actually did pretty well. Mike, you found it. Are you ready to be mad?
I am ready. Go.
Because I was mad too. Frankie,
yes. Frankie was the bartender.
The barkeep.
And man, oh man, I realize why I don't have it in my notes.
The upper lower class barkeep who just did what he needed to do.
I'm in my notes, and I remember I did not have it written down because you guys, again, weren't supposed to venture off of this like non-linear story. So it was just like do whatever, and I was like, oh, that's of course what Brian would want to do, to walk into the nearest tavern, bar, whatever, and I was just like, crap, gotta think of names now. So, and then I had to
make a token character.
Yes, insert random character here, but it becomes like everybody's favorite because the accent was just stupid. Oh man, gotta love.
Well, guys, we bring up the stories about D&D because we're going to talk about D&D today.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're talking about Commander Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
That is the official name of the set.
Released on June 10th, 2022. I don't know why I wanted to add that.
So, guys, we did our episode about the cards we were excited for that were specifically in the Commander decks. This time we're going to go through the set itself, and this is a massive set.
No, man, 936 cards? That's not bad.
Well, that's with all of the
printings,
individual printings. I believe the official set number is like 360 or 362 or something like that.
361.
So, Mikey, we're going to go through them. We're going to talk about the cards that either we're excited for any of our specific decks, cards that we're excited to brew around, and when we get down to multicolors, maybe we'll talk about maybe the commanders we're most excited to brew around.
Correct.
But hey, let's start white.
No particular order.
Everyone's favorite little brother, a color. No, I'm just kidding.
Wooburg.
We're going Wooburg order. Mikey, I'm going to start it. The card I was most excited about when I saw it spoiled, because it fits in more than one deck.
Go on.
And my main deck is Horn of Valhalla. It is one white for artifact equipment. It has an adventure. Yagard's Call, X white, create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, and then its equipment says equip creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control and equip 3. This card was here because it fits into two specific decks. The first being Winota. Winota always loves another X white token generation spell. And then Jetmir, of course, good in Jetmir as well. So I have to say, I really like this card mainly for its adventure side. I think I would play this card more for its adventure side than for its artifact side. But hey, if you have the spare mana, it feels like it could be good. I feel like you're waiting to say something, and I'm kind of afraid.
Let me explain to you why I hate this card. Not because it's the card, because of what it is. So the Horn of Valhalla in actual D&D is an actual item that you can use in 5e and whatnot. It says if it's silver, brass, bronze, or iron, most people just get the iron one because it's just hilarious. Do you have any idea what it does? Do you have any idea what it could do? Just off of the inclination of the card itself. Okay,
so Horn of Valhalla, it's a horn, of course, which traditionally means you're summoning something. Valhalla, my only understanding of the word Valhalla in a magic sense traditionally tends to refer to either the Norse mythology or a lot of times in magic it refers to like angels. Mm-hmm. So I think you probably call something to help you out. My gut's going to say an army of angels, but I feel like it's probably wrong.
Close. It's an it's an army of warrior spirits. You can summon.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty fair.
You can summon.
The Valhalla might be in reference to the Norse mythology,
Yes.
where it's Vikings or warriors. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, you can summon in 5d4 plus 5. If you have proficiency with it, I mean, you can add a ton of just numerous numbers, and they each have their own individual stats.
Please don't tell me they'll have their own actions.
Oh no, they can if you choose to do so.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but we actually had this happen in a very, very like scaled up one shot. One of our guys, he was like, "We can get any item," and Roy was like, "Yeah, sure." So he brings in a Horn of Valhalla. He goes, "I'm gonna use the Horn of Valhalla," and we're all like, "What the hell is a Horn of Valhalla?" And we look it up and we're figuring it out, and we're just like, "Oh no!" So he summons in like, I think, what was it, like, I think it was like 16 of these, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when they all swing in for like 1d8 of damage, it's just like,
That's a lot.
that's a lot of damage. So yeah, man, Horn of Valhalla is a great card though, back in the Magic sense, the Magic realm.
I like it because it's kind of a payoff also for those. To me, I also kind of like it for those Alayla or Kaikar style decks where you're just dumping in a ton of tokens. Like, this is a token payoff for those token decks.
It's a mono white token payoff if you wanted it to be, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
awesome.
I think this is a really cool card. It has a lot of different facets of usability, and that's why I really like it.
I agree. My first one, I'm going to go with, I think everybody would probably assume what it would be. Archivist of Ogma. Just a really good white card. We've heard people talk about it in great ways. Mitch from Commander Quarters has spilled his guts on it and said, "Man, I wish this was 2 white mana because it would be so much better than it just being 1." And I agree. I think the card is just really good. It's a 1 colorless, 1 white.
Wizards has been trying for like a year and a half now to give white good pieces in Commander, and I feel like this is one of the great ones that they got.
It is. The issue that Mitch had was that you're going to play this in any insert color plus white because it is that good. It says, for 1 colorless, 1 white, you get a 2/2 halfling cleric with flash, so you can cast it at any time during instant speed. Whenever an opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Early in the game, let's just say all 3 of your opponents have
Fetches,
fetch land.
ramp spells. What you're basically going to do is the first time anyone goes to try to search, you're going to do this in response, and then you're just going to print money after that.
Print money after that, exactly. You like gaining life?
I don't mind gaining life, actually.
You like drawing a card in a card game?
I would actually like to draw a few cards.
You want to have like 3 extra cards going into your upkeep?
I mean, hey, as the popular saying goes, when in Rome.
When in Baldur's Gate, right?
When in Baldur's Gate, yeah.
Go on for your next one there, Budwell.
Of course, you know me. I am an aggressive player at heart, but I love me a good big mana fun card. So I have to go with Legion Loyalty. 6
yes.
white. Creatures you control have Myriad. This is one of those cards that just makes me happy. 8 mana, which is a little expensive.
No, it's perfect.
But, man, I love me a good big mana card. I'm super sad that there's really only one deck that I have one deck that I'm testing that this really goes in, and that's Kyler Humans. Like, I feel like this is like perfect for that deck. It literally does everything you want. But I love this card. I love that it's big mana. I love that it's splashy. This is the top end of like a Boros or Selesnya tokens list. Like, this is their top end. This is their win the game. And it's hard not to love this card. Yes, it is too expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably going to get priced out of a lot of decks with it being at 8 mana. But I feel like if you have a deck that cares about it, and if you can get up to it, this card is going to be a ton of fun. Especially if a deck that cares about creatures coming into the battlefield, or if you have a deck that cares about how many creatures you control. I feel like this is just going to make all of those payoffs really good.
Now think of it this way, though, too. Like, I don't know if you said this or not. I blacked out for a minute because this card's hilarious. If you're playing a token style deck, your tokens still get Myriad as well. So
every creature you control is
so
myriad.
it's just that much better. And yes, it's 8 mana, but if you're, like you just said, playing in Selesnya, if you're playing in Naya, anything that has green ramp, even if you're playing in just Boros, you're still going to get the benefit of having treasures at some point. If you're not, I hope you are.
The big thing you have to remember with Myriad is, yes, you get a copy attacking every opponent, but who you choose to attack with the regular version of each of those permanents is still important.
Yes.
You don't want to put your actual version of it in harm's way. If you can attack a player that's completely tapped out, and then you get a copy that attacks everybody else, and those copies die, oh well.
Yeah.
But you definitely, the only important part about this one is your attacks just become a teeny bit more important, because you need to make sure that you don't put your things in bad place. I love this card for Kyler, or those green-white human strategies.
I like it in a
because
in a
you're going
style deck.
You're going to get all of those triggers in a red-white deck that has impact tremors. You're going to get all of those triggers.
Yep.
If you have a deck that if you get to play a Cathar's Crusade before this, you're going to get all of those triggers. I want you to attempt to comprehend the amount of triggers that you can get.
I'm going to go on to my next one. I have to talk about this creature because I feel like she is just a cool cat. She'll be going into a new deck that is not disclosed yet. I'm going to butcher her name and get destroyed in the comments, and I'm okay with it. Lae'zel Hazelnut.
Lae'zel Hazelnut. Got him.
Lae'zel
Boys, we got him.
Vlaakith's champion. 2 colors, 1 white for a 3/3. A legendary Gith warrior. Gith is a not newer.
It's a race, though.
Race in 5e.
My understanding is she's from Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
I plan to buy this game and play it once it comes out.
Whenever that will be.
I have friends that preach the goodness of this game, but it's only out. It's only still in
beta.
It's in whatever the Steam does it, where it's like.
Is it in Charlie now?
It's like pre-release. I think it's like you can buy it and play a certain amount of it before time, and then the game comes out and you own it. But anyway, she is a
2 colors,
3/3.
1 white for a 3/3 legendary creature Gith warrior. If you would put 1 or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control, or on yourself, which is also very important, put that many +1 of each of those kind of counters on that permanent or player instead. I think it's a cool little card. You get to have the benefit of playing Atraxa without playing Atraxa. How great is that?
Who doesn't love a little Atraxa,
Me. I think proliferate.
See, the better part about this to me than Atraxa is Atraxa only does it at the end of turn. This does it every time you would put counters on.
She looking good, bro. She looking real good. You know what I'm saying?
This is one of the...
Could you imagine? Managorger Hydra.
Can you imagine?
Lathith.
Can you imagine if you insert thing here? I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine Hydras in general?
I want to talk about one of my favorite backgrounds, which is in white. And that's Inspiring Leader. It says, commander creatures you control have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. This is going to fit into a lot of token decks.
Man, that Legion loyalty just looks that much better now.
This is going to make any token deck in white just strictly better. I mean, for me, it's, Kaikar, Layla, Kyler, these decks. But, think about all the rest of the token decks, Jetmir, all these other token decks that are out there. This just makes token decks better. Now, remember, the only downside of the background is you have to have your commander out to get the effect.
Yes.
But most token decks want their commander out anyway, so it just kind of benefits everyone.
Yep.
I want to take a really quick second to talk about...
You're going to talk about all 5 of them.
The first of all 5 of these that I'm going to talk about, because they're all just... Well, 4 of them are bonkers good, in my opinion.
They're all good, let's be honest.
First is Ancient Gold Dragon. I am committing to put this card and find a room for this card in a future deck, because I love this thing.
I know, it goes in Jetmir.
I'd argue it's a little expensive for Jetmir.
You're playing...
For how I'm building it.
You're playing Naya, it's fine.
Ancient Gold Dragon, Elder Dragon, flying 7/10. Whenever this deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You get that many 1/1 fairy dragon creature tokens with flying. equal to the result. All of our mythic dragons in this set do something when they deal combat damage to a player.
You all roll dice.
And you roll d20. I want to make this work so bad. I will find a way to make this work. Mark my words. I don't know that I'm going to update this in a future episode, but I will make it work. Damn it. I will find a way.
My last white card is there they are.
Stalls for time.
Stalls for time, yeah. Battle Angels of Tyr.
Such a cool card.
I think is a really, really cool card. I haven't seen it really played much. That's why I'm stalling here. Sorry. So I don't really have much.
I tried to
about
play it the other night, but it came out at a really bad time.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of sad, but it's okay. I think it's still going to have its moment of triumph and whatnot. I think the Myriad being on it is already pretty sweet. Does Myriad like melee stack?
No.
That sucks.
Because remember, both of them are attack triggers on attack declaration. So no, they will not. They will unfortunately not stack unless. Do you have a melee? You have melee up by chance?
I can pull up Adriana real quick.
It would depend on how melee is worded.
Well, I know,
and I'll tell you why in a second. How does melee worded?
Melee stacks if you give it double melee.
No. Just say. Read melee.
So whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this combat.
Because the problem is the myriad creatures never declare an attack; they're just created.
Got it.
On attack declaration. Okay. So the original creature will get melee.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you play Legion, and you will have Battle Angels of Tyr out, will you get to double Myriad when you swing with Battle Angels of Tyr?
Yes.
Okay, sweet.
Myriad would be double. Melee would not. Melee will never get doubled because the myriad creatures come in. They never actually declare an attack, so they won't get the attack declaration of melee. Unfortunately, big sad. But my understanding of Legion's Loyalty plus Battle Angels of Tyr is they would literally have myriad twice. I could be wrong.
I don't know, man. Too many rules. Too many nuances.
Rules be hard.
Rules do be hard. Okay, beside the point. But we're not talking about melee. We're talking about Myriad. Battle Angels of Tyr, cool card. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that player has more cards in their hand than each other player. Then you create a treasure token if that player controls more lands. Then you gain 3 life. That player has more life than each other player. Really, really cool card. Again, in mono white, to give them ramp, to give them just help that was really needed, honestly, in a card color. Moving on.
I learned the other night when I played this that there's a lot of things to track at the time of attack.
Well, it's not at the time of attack; it's at
time of damage.
Time of damage, yeah.
Yeah, so
if damage goes through,
if you're playing 3 opponents and they all take their damage first, you go, whoa, wait a second. Who had the most life when I did this? Who did this when I did this? And it's just a lot to deal with. We're moving to blue.
Woo!
And my first card for blue is a card that when I read it, I was like, why? We didn't need this.
Yeah, you did.
But I'll take it. Everyone's favorite kitty cat, Displacer Kitten, 3 and a blue for a creature, cat, beast. Voidance, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control, then return it to the battlefield under your control. Blink decks are fun. Enter the battlefield decks are fun.
Sorry, that was really bad, but
and we are going. This card is going to be able to do more than you think it will, and that's because I don't think that the phrases non-land permanent you control and return it back to the battlefield under your owner's control. I don't think you realize what that actually means until you do this. This means that you could blink an artifact and continue to use it for mana. Let's say you have a Soul Ring or an Arcane Signet, you can continue to blink it and keep using it for mana. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have a really fun creature that when it comes in, it does something cool. You get to blink it every time you cast a non-creature spell. This card is really interesting. This is going to find its home in a lot of ETB decks. And I think it's also going to find its way into a lot of spell slinging decks, because I think this card does more than you think it does.
Oh, it definitely does. That's for sure. And it's going to find its way in a lot of combos. Excuse me, combos as well. I don't know off the top of my head what I could do with this, but you can do a lot.
I mean, the first combo I can think of, if you have enough on the battlefield, I think no matter if you have enough spells in your hand, even if cantrips, like this plus Dockside just seems gross.
There it is.
Like if you there's enough artifacts on the battlefield and you have enough ways to cantrip and draw cards, you could probably go infinite.
Yep, there it is. I couldn't remember. I was like, who gives you mana?
The one I'm excited about is like this plus Avenger Presenter card. This seems really good.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh no.
You got this plus. I mean, this is going right into my Yurok list I've been playing around with. But like this plus like a Titan of Industry. This plus Massacre Worm, this plus... There's a lot of things this plus that could just be really good.
I'm getting a headache here.
On that depressing note, Mikey, what's your choice for a blue card?
Allura, Mary Thief. Simple little rogue. Alright, 2 mana, 2 colorless mana, and 1 blue. Gosh. Legendary creature for a 3/2 legendary creature, halfling rogue. Whenever you attack up to 1... excuse me. Whenever you attack, not this creature, but whenever you attack, up to 1 target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. You also get to choose a background if it's your commander. You want to know where this card's going there, bud?
I can't guess. I literally cannot.
Oh, you can't? Okay, cool. We'll move on then. This saw it, read it, and I was like,
seems like a good card.
I need it.
For the decks that can use it, seems like a really good card.
I need it, and I need it, and I need it in one specific deck, and it's going to be fun because Yuriko is going to love it.
My second card is an equipment that when I saw it, I was like, man, I have 2 decks that this can work in. But I feel like this card fits into a lot of decks. And that's Robe of the Archmagi. For 2 and a blue, you have an equipment that says, whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. It equips for 4, but it also has equip Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard for 1.
It's pretty dope.
I have 2 commanders that get to take advantage of that equip for 1 that this card immediately went into. But I feel like this goes into a lot of decks. This is going to be a really good card for a lot of blue decks that have commanders that fly. You could put this into a lot of spell slingy decks, and this probably does you a lot of good, refills your hand. I just think this is one of those cards that is going to get probably underplayed, just like Robe of Stars got underplayed from AFR, where it has a really good ability, it just you don't realize it until you play it.
Yep.
So I think this is one of those cards. I think it's going to see more play because 1, it's in mono blue, which is something that's really good. 2, we have a lot of flying blue commanders that are going to take good advantage of this and be able to use it. I mean, for me, it's Kaikar and Alayla. They both love a card like this because when they swing in for their little incremental damage, you just refill your hand, right? And it's just going to help you along the way. But I also feel like there's probably a reason they chose Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard, and I can only imagine what commanders fall under that umbrella.
The first one that comes to mind, Barl. I like talking about the main characters of Baldur's Gate, so I'm going to continue talking about them.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. Gale, Waterdeep Prodigy. Fun fact: I don't know any of the lore of Baldur's Gate. I'm sorry, I didn't play those games. I just like being a DM in the setting of D&D. But anyways, whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell from your hand, before I say that, I need to talk about its mana cost. That's a good idea, right? Right. All right.
Probably.
2 colorless, 1 blue for a 1/3 legendary creature, human wizard. Oh, look, a wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast up to 1 target card of the other type from your graveyard. If a spell cast from your graveyard this way would be put into your graveyard, exiled instead, also has choose a background. Oh man, don't you love those backgrounds? This is awesome because you can cast an instant spell and then... Wait, no you can't because it's at sorcerer's feet. Dang it!
Nope, it's most certainly...
Dang it! Well, you know what?
Wouldn't you get it at instant speed?
I don't think
Is
so.
it a triggered ability?
Oh.
Because this is a triggered ability. I'm assuming you would get to...
Does it have the rulings on there yet?
Does not yet,
Dang
because,
it. Because nobody asked these dumb questions yet, which they probably should. Listen, I'm going to go with that yes, because that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking, I'll say that. Let's start with that. I'm thinking that you can cast an instant spell on somebody else's turn. Since it is a triggered ability, you would be able to. Now, unless they are going to play off the rules of it is a sorcery, and you can't play sorceries at instant speed, but I think there are cards that, there are literally cards that say that you can cast sorcery at instant speed, right? Flash.
Yeah, so I was just looking through some of our non-official means. A lot of people on Reddit, a lot of people on their website saying, yeah, because it's a triggered ability, you'd be able to cast it on resolution.
Well, then, blow me down. That's pretty sweet because you like, I don't know, let's just say, you like playing, what is the stupid counterspell that's free?
Oh, Fierce Guardianship?
You like playing Fierce Guardianship for free and then casting a Jessica's Will? Again?
Yeah, this is a card, my pick for one of my favorite showcase arts from the set, just because I think it looks really cool.
It is a very cool card.
This is a cool card. I think it's interesting as a background commander. It also fits really well into any, Izzet or Grixis spell slingy deck. It's just going to help push your strategy forward. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those cards that I really enjoy. I will not go 5 for 5 on mentioning the dragons, but I will choose to mention the blue dragon because it is one of my favorites. Ancient Silver Dragon, 6 blue.
If you don't go 5 for 5, I will.
For an 8/8. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. Draw that many cards equal to the result. You have no maximum hand size for this game. Mikey, we've talked plenty of times about how good drawing cards is in a card game. I have been able to connect with this card once so far.
That's all you need to do.
And I drew 10 cards. So I can only imagine how good this would be to connect for 20.
I don't think a lot of people realize. And if you do, good for you. D20. That means 1 to 20. In a game like Magic, being able to do anything 20 times is just disgusting.
Let's be honest though. The threshold where this is good is anything above 4. Let's be 100% honest. Any result above 4 is just good.
I guess I should have prefaced it with that. Anything over 4, do
I would argue
one of these.
1, 2, or 3 is the worst case scenario. But anything above 4 is better than most draw spells that you would choose to pay for.
But whoop-de-doo, you rolled a 1 and you still get to draw a card.
And then you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I love this card. I mean, we will talk a little bit later about the commander that has me I have 2 commanders that I'm using that have me smitten for this card.
Oh.
But one of my favorites. Mikey, do you have a last blue card that you want to talk about?
Yeah, man. The boy himself, the young man, Volo, the internet scholar, because they have the internet. So anyways.
Wait, they have the internet?
They got the internet, bro. 2 colorless, 1 blue.
Look at this man.
For a 2/3 legendary creature, human wizard. When Volo enters the battlefield, create Volo's Journal, a legendary colorless artifact token with hexproof. And whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that hasn't been noted for this artifact. So basically, if you're going to play Volo as your commander...
Just bring a pad and paper with you.
Bring a full-on notebook. I want to see it.
Bring a scratch pad, bring an index card, bring something.
Then you can pay 2 colorless mana and tap him. You can draw a card for each creature type noted for target permanent you control named Volo's Journal. You also get to choose a background. This card's awesome because you can play this in an already old AFR Volo deck.
Volo.
And just do the dumb stuff there. You can play
I don't like this as much as the original Volo.
No, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
But I still think it's really good, and I like that it has choose a background because I feel like you can take this a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can really have some fun with what you choose to do with it.
They knew what they were doing on that.
How you choose to spin the card.
I think, let's be honest here, I think Volo has a little too much favoritism here, but that's okay. That's okay.
But he has the guide.
Listen,
he has the guide to monsters.
Listen, that guide to monsters is trash. No, I'm kidding.
I've seen better. So.
All right, into Black we go.
Black, I want to really quickly, not as a card that I like, but I want to mention we got a Deadly Dispute reprint, which is important because it's like $1 common. So I just want to mention that we did get it reprinted.
It wouldn't have been $1 common if it didn't get reprinted. It was still at $3.
I think my favorite black card from the main set is Agent of the Iron Throne. This is a background. It says, commander creatures you control have whenever an artifact or creature you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses a life. Hey, you guys like aristocrats? Do you like
aristocrats?
Do you like sacrifice decks?
Do you like treasures?
Do you like treasures?
They go to the graveyard before they go bye-bye.
This card, it makes me happy. I have an infamous love-hate relationship with one treasure commander, and I'm working on another one. And this card is a slam dunk in both of them. This card makes me really happy. And I think this is an example of one of the backgrounds that, even if you're playing aristocrats, like, this is still a really good card.
Yes.
This probably goes in any of those strategies. Goes in any treasure strategy. It's just a card I really like.
No one wants to play Corvold. Get out of here.
What? Not anyone else talking about.
Shut your face.
Gosh, no.
I want to talk about the Elder Brain.
Do you?
Yes, it's 7 mana. It's 5 colorless, 2 black for a 6/6 creature horror with Manahese.
Manache?
No, Manase. Manahese. Anyways, whenever Elder Brain attacks a player, so on the wonderful attack, exile all cards from that player's hand.
Get wrecked. No.
Just a literal wow. Then they draw that many cards. Okay. You may play lands and cast spells from among the exile cards for as long as they remain exile. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color.
It's not just a brain, it's the Elder Brain.
It is the Elder Brain, and let me tell you, it is a big,
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy that does dumb stuff. First off, it has the Manahese. It's a 6/6, so that's a lot to block. Also, all it has to do is attack. It doesn't really have to do the damage. So you're already just taking that terribleness. You're going to be hitting somebody with this that you know is going to have the good stuff that you need.
That goods in their hand?
Yep. Maybe they just tutored for a card. Maybe they just demonic tutored for a card. And maybe they drew, like, I don't know, they just hit you in the face with a ancient silver dragon. So now you're like, you got 14 cards in your hand. Gimme.
Gimme.
Now, don't get me wrong.
I would very much like your cards, please.
Give me your cards, please. Thank you. Yeah, man. This card's hilarious. I think it's going to be great in any horror deck. I think it's going to be fun if you're playing them in a Hase deck as well. So go out there, slam somebody in the face with a brain, and give them something to chew on.
All right, friendos. It's broken record time. We're back for another Ancient Dragon. We're talking about Ancient
way too much
Brass
fun with this.
Dragon, 5 black for another dragon. It says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20.
Yeah, man.
When you do,
oh boy, here we go. Put
any number of target creature cards with total mana value X or less from graveyards, not even your graveyard, from graveyards onto the battlefield under your control, where X is the result. I'm smitten, Michael. I don't know about you.
You want a board wipe and then just play this and swing for face?
I just
Go on.
I love a good reanimation card. Like, I love, like, Drana from Jenica Rising. Like, I love the new Olivia that reanimates from the graveyard. But have you ever just wanted to reanimate your opponent's creatures from their graveyard?
Oh, that's such a fun time, isn't it?
Gosh. This card looks like a ton of fun. And this is, like, the main reason why I need to build some sort of Black Dragons deck. Because, like, this card specifically, I want to steal someone's creature from their graveyard. It's just, it's a personal thing, and I need to do it.
On that depressing note, I'm going to move on to the Little Brain, because I feel like I have to. Because this has happened to me.
Are we going to devour some intellect?
No, we're going to intellect devour.
We're going to devour some intellect. Yeah.
So, yeah, intellect devours 3 colorless, 1 black for a 2/4 creature horror again. Its ability is devour intellect, which is amazing. Nobody would have guessed. When intellect devour enters the battlefield, each opponent exiles a card from their hand, much like the Elder Brain. So I'm seeing a little.
Is that synergy?
100%. Exile a card from their hand until Intellect Devour leaves the battlefield. It also has Body Thief. You may play lands and cast spells from among the cards exiled with Intellect Devour. If you cast spells, you can cast spend mana, though it were mana of any color to cast it.
Gotta love it, man. Such
card.
a fun card.
And it's for a little bit. It's just a little bit cheaper. Elder Brain. Look at that. No Menachem.
I want to mention a black card that I love literally and only for its art.
That's better than this one, I hope.
Because its art is still better than Twilight, and that's Astarian's Thirst. 3 and a black for an instant. It says exile target creature, put X plus and plus 1 counters on a commander creature you control, where X is the power of target creature exiled this way. I love this art. I mean, it has nothing to do with the game of Magic, and let's be honest, it isn't even that good of a removal spell. But I love the art.
I think that's Gale and the black-white vampire.
Listen, Mikey, listen. Hear me out.
I don't know what's happening here.
They seem into it, though, and that's the point.
Hey, some people got their kinks. Honorable mention, a creature called Moldfolk.
They be into it. They be into it. That's what counts.
Did we miss anybody important?
I mean, I said my piece, so.
I'm good. Topaz Dragon. Cool card.
I said what I needed to say.
All right, moving on to the best color in Magic.
.tm. No. I would argue it's tied for the best player in Magic, but... Let's move on to red.
There's a
red
card
is
named Baldur, which is awesome.
Red is a color that we both love. Definitely a favorite color.
Red is a color in Magic, yes.
I want to start with a card that, when it got spoiled, I literally said, and I quote, "This card was
trash out of my face.
This card was a mistake. They should have never printed this card." And then I proceeded to show the other night why this card was a mistake, and that's Storm King's Thunder. X and triple red for an instant that says, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell X times. You can choose new targets for the copy. Friends, I am a green player at heart, and I think that copy spells should be banned from this game. Why Wizards should choose to make an X copy spell for spells is beyond me, but it proceeded to me to get, 7 turns the other night off of one Storm King's Thunder? My friends, I'm going to play the card. Wizards made it, but why? Why did we make this card?
Just want everybody to know there's a card named Furbolg Flutist. Yes, somebody literally is playing a flute in Magic now. How great is that?
You know what? I'm kind of into it.
They reprinted Lightning Bolt, and it looks beautiful. Love it.
Is it time for Millzy's Dragon Hour? Where we
yep. I didn't know what else to talk about other than Will, and I was like, I'll let you talk about the dragon, then I'll talk about Will.
We talk about my favorite That's a lie. This isn't my favorite non-ancient dragon, but it is certainly a good one, and that's Wrathful Red Dragon.
Would it be your favorite non-ancient dragon from this set?
Earthquake Dragon's pretty cool.
We haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten to Greed yet. Spoilers. Wrathful Red Dragon, 3 red for a 5/5. It says whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon.
Dumb.
Friends, did you need Stuffy Doll for all of your dragons? The Wrathful Red Dragon is here for you. Man, this just makes any dragon deck better, because when you attack and someone blocks you, you're just like, well, guess you're going to take the damage anyway. I really like this dragon. I also think the art is actually kind of cool. Like, it's just kind of that classic, like...
The way you get out of this...
I'm a dragon!
The way you get out of this is...
It's preventing combat damage.
Well, yes, play Fox, please do. They're great. We see this. Millzy hates me. No.
Yeah, you have your days.
This is a good point. Those one whatever Death Touchers. There you go. They're only taking 1 damage... and they die.
I've already figured it out.
What, dude?
Just every deck needs to main board a Maskwood Nexus, and you'll get around your problem. Like, no, I'm just kidding. And then
let's talk about dragons.
We will run the train back, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We got Ancient Copper Dragon.
This one definitely ain't
broke. 4 red. My vote for the strict best of all of the Ancient Dragons.
It's
Creature, Elder Dragon, flying. Whenever it deals combat damage, player roll a d20. And Mikey, what do we get as our benefit for rolling a d20? We get to make a number of treasure tokens equal to the result 6/5.
I got 34 treasure tokens with this guy, with my Teamer dice rolling deck.
I'm sorry?
34.
I'm sorry? Sorry, what?
34. Proceeded to play the ancient green dragon.
I'm sorry. Did you just say a number that is larger than 20?
Yes. Dice rolling is great. Let me tell you. No, it is.
This card is a monster.
Gross.
This card is probably one of the better dragons that I've seen, as long as it connects.
Yes.
I think there are better dragons on face value.
Yes.
But if this thing connects, literally any number above 2, I'm happy about. If it's 1 or 2, I'm probably sad.
Yeah.
But if it's literally any number above 2, and I mean that seriously, like if I get a 5, I'm happy. If I get a 15, I'm happy. But I think 1 and 2 are the only numbers that I'm like, meh.
How many treasures do you want in a dragon's deck now? Gnawbone gives you treasures.
Can you imagine?
This gives you treasures.
Just, Mikey, I want you to just take a... Can you close your eyes for me? I want you to just take a deep breath in. We're going to go to Magical Christmas Land, where we get to stack the board with everything we need to make our decks even better. I want you to imagine that you have multiple Gnawbones on the field with a commander that's remain nameless.
I'm like, wait, where are the multiple Gnawbones coming from?
It's okay, we'll get there.
Okay.
And let's say that you play one of these ancient copper dragons, and you proceed to connect, and let's say you roll, I don't know, a 20, because we're playing D&D. No, I'm just kidding. Let's say you roll a 12.
Okay.
You're getting 12 treasures,
Uh-huh.
plus you're getting every Gnawbone trigger, which means in this case you would get 18 if you had 1 Gnawbone, 24 if you had 2 Gnawbones, again with a commander that remained nameless.
Shut your mouth.
I don't think there's a scenario where this card attacks and hits where you don't come out in ahead. Like, at minimum, I think you would argue you need 6 treasures from this to go even. But I would argue, okay, sure. But red has no ways to give creatures haste or, make them worse to deal with. We're not in the air, which is already something you have to deal with. Not every creature in flying has magic. Not every creature in Magic has flying.
Again, I'm just gonna say this. I
Can
got
we-
34.
Can we talk about how this is the showcase version of this card? The last time I checked, which again, the date of this recording is 6/23, so prices could have fluctuated between the time you're looking at this card or if you looked at it in the past. Showcase version of this card is over $70.
That hurts.
Mikey, Goldspan Dragon, one of the single best red dragons we've seen in the last year, isn't even $70.
Like 40.
It's in that 30 to 40 range. I am a green player at heart, and I am never quick to not mention that. But this makes my Gruul heart happy. I love this card.
This just makes my red heart happy.
I'm going to finish off, and then I'm going to let you pick a card or two.
I'm going to let you finish.
But I want to talk about the orb of dragon kinds that we got in this set, because I think they're all interesting, but in my opinion, I think the red and the green ones are my favorite. But I want to talk about the red one here. Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind. 2 and a red for an artifact. Add a red. If that mana is spent on a dragon spell, not even to cast it, if it's just spent on a dragon spell. Interesting. It gains haste until end of turn. So on a basis standpoint, terrible mana rock, right? 3 mana for 1 mana is a little worse than an Arcane Signet or a Soul Ring or some of the other mana rocks we have. But being able to give, I don't know, Ancient Copper Dragon haste.
Star Mount
already has haste.
Oh, it does.
Drakaseth. All of these big red dragons that don't have haste already, made it be super cool to give them haste. This card is not going to see a lot of widespread commander play in Dragon decks because I think, again, there are better mana rocks out there. But I think in some of those budget commander lists, and especially in the 2-color commander decks, like Dragon decks, especially in Izzet Dragons, I see this getting a lot of play.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
The orbs are cool. Let's talk about dice rolling again. Will.
Wait, are you implying that dice rolling is a strategy that is playable?
No, I know what I'm talking about. I don't complain about it every single day of my life. Will, Blade of Frontiers is a 1 colorless, 1 red, 1/1, legendary creature, human warlock. It says, if you would roll one or more dice, instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. So you basically, if you played 5e, you know this is advantage, and it is awesome when you have it.
It says whenever you roll one or more dice, if you get a 20, you win the game. I mean, that seems
100%,
fair. No, I'm just kidding.
It says whenever you roll one or more dice, put a +1/+1 counter on will. So every time that you are rolling a set of dice, it is not every time you roll a dice. So if with his first ability that says whenever you roll one or more dice, you instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. Unfortunately, you do not get a +1/+1 counter for each dice that you are rolling. You are just getting a +1/+1 counter for the instant of rolling dice, which kind of sucks.
But you do in dice rolling have other payoffs that this plays into.
Yes, it does. Also has choose a background, which is really, really cool.
Just like I think we both have had some deck ideas we've been talking about for a really long time, and team or dice rolling in general has been something you've talked about for a long time. And when I saw Will, I was like, man, this isn't the commander for a dice rolling deck, because I feel like unfortunately dice rolling seems like it's perfect in teamer colors, but this is a card that is a all-star.
It is awesome. I've seen it work many wonders for me. The card that I also want to adjust to is also Will's Reversal, which talks about Will. It's 2 colorless, 1 red. For an instant that says counter target spell or ability with 1 or more targets. Then roll a d20 and add the greatest power among creatures you control. Whew! Such a good card. 1 to 14, you may choose new targets for that spell or ability. At 15 or more, you may choose new targets for that spell or ability. Then copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Yeah, because that's not going to be good.
Let me know if I did this right. So I was playing this. It was one of the times you went on vacation. I was playing this, and
I don't like to talk about it. I miss so much Magic.
It's okay. You only missed a couple games.
Those were dark days. No, I'm just kidding. No.
But Josh swung at me with an Ulamog, and I countered the ability of it milling me 20 cards.
Well, you're choosing the ability and redirecting it. So yes, you could.
I copied it.
Well, you don't counter the ability. You change the target of the ability.
Yeah. That's basically
the
what
only
so
thing
I did that correct.
The only thing would be if Willamog says,
let me pull it up.
Target opponent mills 20 cards, then you would be in trouble because it was no, you would just change the target, so you'd be fine.
It says whenever Ulamog attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of his or her library.
Does it target?
It doesn't target. Dang it! So I did do it wrong.
Because I think the only bad part here is I don't think it targets. So you can't change this. You can't change the target of a spell that doesn't target, or an ability that doesn't target because there is no target because it's the defending player. The player already attacked. Now that's a bird's eye view pass of that. I bet you that if we got deeper down into the rules, maybe we might see differently. If we were sitting at a table and you asked me, hey, how do you think this works? I would probably say no, because it doesn't say target player. Right. It says defending player, which is
it does say choose target spell or ability. So yeah, no, that would make sense. Okay, so I did do that wrong. Dang. Darn.
Well, it says spell ability with 1 or more targets. That's what it says. And I don't think that ability targets.
Right, it is just saying defending.
In the same way that if someone were to overload a Cyclonic Rift, it doesn't target.
Right.
So you can, or like if someone had a board wipe, it doesn't target, right? But if someone played a Swords to Plowshares on a creature, that has a target.
Yeah.
You could.
Of course.
So, yeah, I think that the card's really good.
The card's still good, yeah. You're basically countering it, but now you're not just countering it, you're moving it to somebody else, which is nice. It's like a deflecting swat,
but better because you have a chance to copy it.
Yeah.
In all reality, the only upside to deflecting swat is you can play it for free if you control your credit. But Mikey, here's what I think we should do. I think we need to take a page out of the Hunger Games / Harry Potter / Twilight book. And I think we need to save the rest of the set for another episode. We're getting pretty high up there in our time, and I want to make sure that we have lots of time to talk about the rest of the set. So I think we're going to have to go to part 2.
Do we talk about the last color and then talk about the rest, or can we just
let's do green multicolor artifacts and lands in the next episode. That way it gives us time to talk about it. We did 4 colors in this episode. We'll do 1 color.
We have had way too much fun with this. and I'm very happy about it.
I think we need to. I mean, this is our premiere set of the year. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I feel like we need to enjoy it. We need to talk about it. We need to be excited for it. And if we're not, then I think we're doing something wrong as a Commander podcast.
No, Wizards is doing wrong. It's never us.
So guys, next time we're going to talk about green. We're going to talk about multicolored. We're going to talk about the artifacts in the set. And we're going to talk about the lands. And there are actually more than just a land cycle. There's a lot of decent lands in this set.
Yeah.
And then I have a fun idea.
Oh boy, go for it.
For the end. Yeah. So tune in next time, part 2.
I don't even get to know.
Part 2 of this episode where we go through the rest. We will catch you guys next time.